ladies and gentlemen, it turns out the tax man cometh, and I'm here to collect my tithings. After yesterday's video, watching the entire internet freak the hell out, talking about Xbox Game Pass ruining the gaming industry and not holding the actual shareholders accountable or the insane ballooning budgets accountable, we now see that Christopher Dring had to go around and take his cockeyed L and hold it close to his chest. Not the first time, not the last time. And it just goes to prove that the problem with the gaming industry isn't one specific thing. It's multiple facets that are being combined together. And not a single company is safe from that. I'm telling you, no one is safe. Not even Nintendo. Because you see with the day before's news about Game Pass being unsustainable, unprofitable, and causing the heat death of the gaming industry, we were looking at tweets like this. These are real. These actually happened. I'm not kidding. And it goes to show that people do not understand why everybody is signing things like stop killing games, why people are upset about the budgets of video games, why games costing $80 are a massive disaster for this industry. But you know what's even better? The response from Christopher Dring yesterday morning. Christopher Dring yesterday, in fact, tweeted this. Okay, I need to correct/clarify something. First, Xbox Game Pass is profitable, even when you factor in the lost sales for its first-party teams. Sources who would know have told me. Over 18 months ago, I checked with Xbox about what's included in the Game Pass profit and loss. Basically, I was looking to see if Game Pass's costs factor in the impact of the unit sales of their internal studios. I was told that first-party games have their own profit and loss, separate to Game Pass, as they make money via other means. I felt this piece of internal accountancy might mean Game Pass is profitable, but it sure does put pressure on the margins for its internal games and possibly means some studios don't make as much profit or any profit at all. That doesn't actually matter in real terms, but seeing the impact Game Pass was having on first-party games and the amount of money Xbox was spending on studios, I wanted to check if the full impact of the service was being considered in their Game Pass's profitable line. This was before Xbox started publishing fully on PS5. Studios can now make stronger margins on premium sales as a result of that move. But regardless of all of that, sources have reached out to tell me that even when you include lost revenue associated with first-party games, not just in unit sales, but microtransactions, Game Pass is still profitable. So that's great. Right. Tony Hawk's out. Let's get back to that. Hold on there, Skippy. Hold on there. Hold on there. No. I know one eye's looking in one direction and the other one's facing forward and you're trying to skedaddle off like nobody's business. My boy, you were the one who made this happen. You were the one who made those tweets. You were the one who went ahead and decided to set the internet on fire talking about Xbox bad. And again, I'm not wearing my Xbox shield and vest to protect this company. Trust me, they've been through a bunch of garbage already and I've called them out for it. When you say something like this and you don't have the evidence to back it and you completely put out misinformation, that's where people get upset. That's where fanboys run around and talk about how Xbox is ruining the gaming industry. That's how these things happen. And then you get a guy like me walking up and saying, hey, some of this stuff doesn't make sense. And clearly it didn't, because like you stated, game sales are only part of the actual solution. And when we look at what the game budgets are and how much money companies are spending and other ways they're monetizing you, video game costs are not the only thing that is being applied to the actual customer. That $70 or $80 is only a small piece of the pie. When you look at MTXs, when you look at other deals, when you look at other ways that these companies will bend you over and screw screw you as a consumer and customer, they are making money hand over fist. To try and say something so completely idiotic like Game Pass is unsustainable because of the amount of copies being sold goes to show that anyone saying that has no idea what the gaming industry has done to you as a consumer and has completely monetized every inch of your brain for you to go ahead and be so idiotic to ignore all the dark patterns being applied to you. If you think I'm lying, remember Diablo 4 first being released? That game was full of dark patterns. In fact, Epic Games itself was being sued and had to give money back because of the UI design due to those specific dark patterns. These companies, these corporations, they're not your friend. They know more than anybody how to milk you dry for money. And they're going to do it with an expert craftsmanship and a scalpel sharper than nobody's ever seen because they actually do these things for a living. It's part of their own P&L. When the fact that companies have been walking around saying that they're going to be hiring psychologists to work on how storefront and microtransactions work, they are literally brain you into a way of trying to get more money out of your pocket. Even Valve has done it. Even the fact that rumors go around that Blizzard has done it as well for Overwatch 2. These companies know exactly what they're doing to monetize you. And the fact that idiots on the internet are trying to go around and say Game Pass is the problem while not seeing the bigger issues at hand is the exact reason why they are running you over the coals consistently. And the crazier part is that these companies are in fact scared that you will wake up and realize how they're trying to mentally manipulate you on a consistent basis. And then at the same time, blame you for the high cost of development and then say it's your fault you have to pay $80 or more for video games. This is like a direct line out of Misery. It's wild to see that people will defend these companies consistently and then look for scapegoats of other companies that are doing the exact same thing to try and use that as a blame for why the industry is the way it is. And then turn around that there are literally people being against things like Stop Killing Games when the people who are scared about Stop Killing Games are actually the industry itself. Look, this is the list. This is who's mad about Stop Killing Games. Anybody that's with this is with these corpos. It's wild. It's crazy. It's honestly wild to see. And the better part about all of this is that no corporation or company is safe. Your favorite company that makes those games that you love to have by your nostalgia, even they are going to do the exact same things for you. We've seen Nintendo do it to your faces directly, and people still give them the excuse of like, oh, it made me happy with my childhood, when they're the ones being some of the worst in this industry right now and having some of the worst practices overall. I can't tell you how many tweets I've seen of people going around and defending Nintendo with their entire mind, body, and soul because this company made them happy 35 years ago as a child. Yet they're going to go off and excuse everything this company has done or use whataboutisms of every other company to defend Nintendo in the first place. When even they're telling you to your face, at some point, we're going to have to charge you more money when they already are doing that right now. Let's not forget about the entire variable pricing effort, the fact that they're going to monetize your nostalgia. Oh, do you like Donkey Kong? You don't like him that much? That's $70. Zelda? We know you love Zelda. That's going to be $80, maybe even $90. Who knows? Mario? Easy. We know that's an $80 game. You'll buy it day one. Trust us. And the problem is that the people that lack a spine outnumber anybody else in this gaming industry. And that is the most concerning thing of all. Because even Shuhei Yoshida said this himself. Former PlayStation boss says $200 million AAA budgets mean publishers greenlight fewer games. Something has to be done. And everybody complaining about, oh, you guys got to buy your games and support the dev. It doesn't matter how many copies you buy because all they're going to do is fire all those devs, rehire them later on, and then put them back to work under contract, paying them less, making them crunch more, and then spend even double that amount of money on the next video game. And then when it doesn't sell because they have to homogenize the gameplay in the first place to reach a wider audience, then they're going to get even more angry and fire everybody as well, cancel all their projects, close down studios, and then blame you for it as well. And you're going to be like, yeah, guys, it was our fault. We didn't give the corporation enough money, like an actual spineless jellyfish. This industry, these companies, these corporations need to crash and burn hard, because when you look back at the older days like PS1 and PS2, you had games coming out every 1 to 2 years, sequels coming out every 1 to 2 years inside that same console generation. Now it's 5 to 7 years per video game. And it gets even worse because even Nintendo is now falling into that same exact trap. Nintendo says game development risks increasing due to higher game prices, and risking production costs suggest shorter development periods as one solution. Already we're off to a raucous start. It's not about, hey, we should lower development costs. Hey, we should make games with smaller scope and more dedicated gameplay. Hey, we should look at things directly and see where we can cut costs without firing everybody or figure out ways of making things more streamlined. No, what we're going to do instead is just crunch everybody down and make them do the game faster to pump out more projects, and then at the same time spend more money and not look at any of the budgets whatsoever. But hey, variable pricing, am I right? According to the article by IGN, it says this: as part of a newly translated Nintendo investor Q&A, the company's president acknowledged that projects which require more time and resources were increasing game development budgets, and while offsetting these higher costs with a higher price to consumers was one solution, this could also limit the number of people willing to be able to pay for them. As the president was quoted directly saying this: recent game software development has become larger in scale and longer in duration, resulting in higher development costs, Furukawa acknowledged. The game business has always been a high-risk business, and we recognize that rising development costs are increasing that risk. Literally, in front of your face, Furukawa is telling you, hey, the game budgets are going to increase, and what we're going to do is, instead of trying to maintain those budgets and keep things in line and not overspend, what we're going to do instead is make you pay more money to offset that risk, and at the same time try to go ahead and crunch everybody down, so that way when they're crunching, they make in fact worse product and we can just churn out slop after slop after slop. They are literally doing the exact same thing every other major game company and publisher is doing in the industry right now. And the fact that anybody is defending this goes to show that even your favorite corporation can do the exact same thing, and defending them does nothing but give them the opportunity in the past for them to screw you at every opportune moment. There is no reason why Nintendo should have ballooning budgets. In fact, they just barely caught up visually in terms of graphics to this modern era. But again, Furukawa even says this in the article, continuing: our development teams are devising various ways to maintain our traditional approach to creating games amidst the increasing scale and length of development, Furukawa continued. We believe it's important to make the necessary investments for more efficient development. Furukawa continues by saying this: we also believe it is possible to develop game software with shorter development periods that still offer consumers a sense of novelty, Furukawa concluded, without providing an example of this. We see this as one potential solution to the concern about rising development costs and software prices, and we will explore it from various angles within the company. Anybody worth their salt in the gaming industry knows exactly what that means. They're going to crunch everybody down, and they're going to lay a bunch of people off, and they're going to charge you more money in the end, because these companies cannot control the over-ballooning budgets that are happening to them on a consistent basis. Microsoft couldn't do it because they spent $80 billion on AI. PlayStation couldn't do it because all they do is monetize The Last of Us and resell it to you over and over again. And now Nintendo can't do it because clearly they've been getting caught with the exact same thing. The entire race to the bottom of trying to make everything look visually appealing or high-res graphics and all this other garbage that comes that way is exactly why the gaming industry is headed down this path. We need to make everything look like a movie, make it more cinematic, make it more expensive, put more money into it, then we'll make more money back. That's not how this works. They're playing with a knife's edge, and they're trying to catch that knife with their bare hands as it's falling at 100 miles an hour. And then when they cut themselves on it, they look at you and say, that's your fault. Why didn't you catch it before me? Now give us more money for it. This is exactly how this industry has done this to people over and over again. And the fact that gamers themselves are not seeing this directly, the The fact that gamers are trying to now question Stop Killing Games in the first place. The fact that so many other people online, like Pirate Software, were trying to put a halt onto Stop Killing Games in the first place. You can clearly see who is a company plant and who is for the consumer directly. And the more we see this, the more we see these companies walk around, blame the consumer, charge you more money, add more MTXs, try to make you guys fight each other, and then look at everybody else like, oh guys, we're in a console war, boys. We got to figure out who's going to be the best console to buy. While at the same time, those heads of studios and those CEOs and those chairmen of the boards are all together having dinner, laughing at your expense while you go around and shill all their money out to them. Be like, oh, here's $80 for Mario Kart World, guys. Thank you so much for the pittance you've given me of a video game. People called me crazy saying that we needed a second video game Crash. And you know what? I was wrong. We don't need a second video game Crash. We need a AAA video game Crash, because the developers look to create smaller studios with better video games over scope, and they realize they can make a better product than 9,000 people working together to make Diablo ever could. It turns out that, hey, maybe if you just make a good video game, regardless of how it looks, it'll sell a ton of copies, people will be happy, and you get to make another one behind that. But you know what? I guess nobody learns their lesson in this industry anymore, and it's all the same garbage over and over again. If you haven't signed the Stop Killing Games petition, do so right now, especially if you're in the EU, and do the one thing that's going to be benefiting you the most. Return to the original. Go back and play old games on an emulator. Play old PS1 and PS2 games. Enjoy video games again, because this industry, this AAA industry, is doing nothing more than trying to suckle every penny out of your wallet, and they're going to hire every psychologist, every economist, and every person they can to mentally abuse and degrade you consistently, because they want every red cent prolapse from your goat's eat hole onto the backside. And the more you defend them, the more they stretch the speculum. These companies should be working for you, not the other way around. And the fact that this happens consistently, and I have to call this out every week, is the scarier part about all of it. But even then, with all that being said, if you want to see more of this kind of content, more hot takes in the gaming industry, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 87,000 subs, and I just want to say thank you guys so very much. If you want Discord access or most during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, come on down to the live stream. Everybody is insane, and they abuse me mentally with AITTS on a consistent basis. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!